Welcome to my channel. This is yoga for core strength and stability. We'll be playing around with some core exercises and then we'll wind down with some deep restorative postures. I hope you enjoy. Let's take a few moments with the hands together in prayer, checking in with breath and body, fully arriving into the here and now, present on your mat. Make your way into child's pose when you're ready. So knees wide, big toes together, hips reach back towards the heels as you walk the hands forward, allowing the forehead to release into the mat. And just taking a few moments to get comfortable in your child's pose. So adjusting as you see fit. And then coming back to body and breath, observing this new shape. Make your way up onto hands and knees, but walk the knees a little bit back behind the hips and the hands a little bit forward ahead of the shoulders. You can tuck the toes here and begin to make circles with your torso in one direction and then the other, 3 times on each side. Just warming up the hips and shoulders, finding movement in the spine. Switching directions. Making circles, sending the hips as far back and the shoulders as far forward as feels comfortable to you. Pressing down into the hands and feet and knees. Flowing with the breath. Coming back to center. Keeping the knees a bit behind the hips and wrists a bit forward of the shoulders, we'll take a few cat-cow. So inhaling to reach your chest forward and hips up, maybe you look up. Exhaling, lifting the middle of your back towards the ceiling, bringing the pubic bone forward as you look down and in. Inhaling, guiding the chest forward, lengthening the torso. Exhaling, rounding the spine, engaging the core as you bring the pubic bone forward, looking down and in. Keep flowing, inhaling and exhaling. Opening the chest, lengthening the torso, lifting the sit bones to the ceiling. Rounding the spine, engaging the core, bringing the pubic bone forward, looking down and in. And then coming onto hands and knees with the knees below the hips, wrists below the shoulders. Flat back as you tuck the right toes and reach your right heel back. So creating length and space in the back of the right leg as you root down into the left knee and both hands. Finding support from the core as you reach back through the right heel. Then bring the right knee back and switch sides, tucking the left toes, reaching back and down with the left heel. Staying connected to the rest of your body. Staying connected to the steady flow of your breath. Bringing the left knee back so both knees are side by side. Wrists below the shoulders, engage the core. Pressing down into the knees, lift the heels in towards the body. And then make circles with the ankles in one direction and then the other. And make your way back down with toes tucked. Come to sit as you swing your legs forward. And keeping your knees bent, lower down to lie on your back. Coming into a reverse tabletop position. So reach both hands up to the ceiling and then bring the shins parallel with the mat, knees above the hips. Engage the core by pressing the low back into the mat. And then extend the left leg and right hand, bringing them back to center. Extend the right leg and left hand. Back to center. Left leg forward, right hand back, without touching the mat. And back to center. Nice and slow, steady breath. Right leg forward, left hand back. Coming back. Left leg, right hand. Keep the low back into the mat, keep the core engaged. Right leg, left hand. Left leg and right hand in that tabletop position. Back to center. Left leg, right hand. Back to center. Right leg, left hand. This might be tricky for the coordination challenged. Take your time. Then both hands and legs extend, coming back to center. And then reach again, legs out and forward, coming back. And again, extended hands and legs, and back to center. And then just shake it out, bringing the knees into the chest, steadying the breath, then roll your way up to sit. Taking a gentle twist, right hand on the left knee, left hand behind you for support. Pressing down into the hips as you lift the chest, turning over to your left with the belly, rib cage, and chest. Inhaling back to center. And then coming over, left hand, right knee, right hand behind you as you twist. Over to the right. Hips stay forward. Torso turns to the right. Shoulders are relaxed. Inhaling back to center. And then find your way into down dog. So making that upside down V, pressing into the palms of your hands, reaching the heels back, lifting the hips up high, chest to the legs, ears inside the arms. Shoulder blades move down the back and pubic bone gently guides forward. The knees can be as bent as they need to be. And then guide the pubic bone forward. Come into your plank position. So shoulders above the wrists, hips up high but just below the shoulders, and reach back into the heels. And slowly lower down into a forearm plank. So you can bring your knees down, but bring your forearms down onto the mat and then lift the hips back up. Elbows below the shoulders. Pushing down into the forearms and keeping the gaze down so that the neck is comfortable. Making your way back up to plank position. So finding lightness and support in the core by guiding the pubic bone forward and pushing the mat away with your hands as you look down. And maintaining this connection as you lower down again into your forearm plank. To challenge the core a bit more, you can walk the feet back so that the hips are in line with the shoulders. Keep reaching back through the heels, lifting up through the low back and pressing down in the elbows. And then slowly, with core control, make your way back up to plank pose. And then lift the hips high, settling into your down dog. Make your way onto hands and knees. Press down into the left hand and reach your right hand to the ceiling. And then release the right shoulder down into the mat. Inhale, right hand to ceiling and come back to center. Other side, left hand to the ceiling. Exhaling, left shoulder to the mat. Inhaling, left hand to the ceiling and back to hands and knees. Making circles with the right hand in one direction, so up and back and around, and then back, up and around, and back to hands and knees. Other side, left hand, back, up and around, up, back and around, back to hands and knees. We'll make circles with the knees one at a time. So lifting the right knee out to the side like a dog against a wall or tree, and then drawing circles in one direction. And then the other. Making as big or small circles as you choose, away from the body and in towards the body. Warming up the hips. And then we'll take it on the other side. Left knee out to the side, making circles. Keep pressing into the hands for support and stability as you bring mobility into the hips, switching directions. And then coming back onto hands and knees. Reach the sole of the left foot with the knee bent up towards the ceiling. And then reach back with the right hand. And maybe you can take hold of the left foot at the shin or ankle. And then keep lifting the foot to the ceiling as you roll the right chest open. And releasing, taking it on the other side. Sole of the right foot to the ceiling. Left hand reaching back. Maybe it touches, maybe it doesn't. Wherever you are, keep lifting the right foot to the ceiling. Moving the left shoulder blade in towards the spine. But keep the chest facing forward. Slowly releasing, coming back to hands and knees. Let's set up for a version of gate pose. So coming onto the right knee and bringing the right ankle behind the right knee with the toes tucked. Extend the left foot, coming onto the heel of the left foot as you point the toes back towards the body. And then walk the hands forward in front of the hips and lift the chest into a half lift position. Finding release in the left inner thigh as you breathe. And then bringing that left foot across the body and over to the right side. Reaching forward through the heel and back with the toes. Releasing the calf and sides of the left leg. Step the left leg to the top of your mat and take a warrior 2 position just with the left leg so the right leg stays as it is. And then take a forward fold on the inside of the left knee. Keep the left knee above the ankle as you lift the chest away from the hips. Making your way up into this half warrior 2 position. So right toes tucked, right knee reaching down, left knee reaching forward above the ankle. Keep reaching out through the fingertips, looking to your left middle finger. And you reverse this, so keep pressing down into the left foot, reach the left hand up and back, finding support with the right hand against the mat. You can even bring a deeper shoulder release here by cradling the back of your head and reaching the elbow back, reaching the head into the hand as you lift the chest. Releasing the left hand, Making your way back to this half warrior two and making your way down. Back to hands and knees and switching sides. So left knee down, right leg out to the side, onto the heel of the right foot, toes in towards the body. And then taking a half lift position with the upper body, lifting the chest, connecting the shoulder blades to the back as you move them down, away from the ears. Walking the right foot over to the left, reaching forward with the heel and back with the toes. Keep lifting the chest. Right foot steps back to that half warrior two position as you fold forward on the inside of the right foot. So guiding the chest forward, reaching the hips back as you guide the right knee forward above the ankle. Staying connected to relaxed shoulder blades. Deep release in the hamstring. Steady breath. Making your way up to warrior two with the knee down. Reversing the warrior, right hand up and back. Keeping the hips forward as you lift the chest. Deepening the experience in your shoulder if you choose by cradling the back of your head with the right palm. Reaching the elbow back as you reach the head into the hand and lift the chest. Not forgetting to keep the right knee above the ankle and keep the breath steady. Making your way back up to warrior two and then lowering down to hands and knees before stepping back to down dog. So making sure that you have that shoulder support and core strength in your down dog. So shoulder blades plugged into the back and moving down. Pubic bone moving forward. And then come forward into your plank. So keeping those two and lifting the low back up to keep the core even more engaged. Lower down to your chaturanga, knees down or up, elbows back and in towards the body. And then back to down dog. And we'll take that flow again. Into plank. Lowering down halfway to chaturanga. Pushing back up to plank. And then into down dog. Moving from the core, using the support of the shoulders into plank, lowering down into chaturanga. Remember your knees can be down or up. Lifting back up to plank and taking down dog. Inhaling forward to plank. Exhaling, lowering down, elbows squeezing in chaturanga. Inhaling plank. Exhaling down dog. Inhaling plank. Exhaling chaturanga. Inhaling plank. Exhaling down dog. One last round, inhaling to plank. Exhaling elbows back and in towards the body, chaturanga. Inhaling again, plank. Exhaling into down dog. Press into the hands, lift the hips, reach the heels towards the mat. And then reach the right leg up to the ceiling. Toes pointing down towards the mat and the hips are side by side. So if you notice the right hip opening, turn the right hip down towards the mat. Step the right foot forward and then make your way up into warrior two. Right knee is above the ankle, The left foot is parallel with the back of the mat. The wrists are above the ankles. The shoulders are moving down, away from the ears. Maybe the gaze is towards your right middle finger. Press down into the feet. Keep the right knee forward as you lower your hips and lift up through the top of your head. Reach the tailbone down and the pubic bone a bit forward. And steady the breath. Make your way down into a low lunge, coming onto the ball of the back foot. Step back with the right leg to the ceiling, three-legged down dog, and then into down dog before switching sides. Left leg reaches up towards the ceiling. Keep the hips side by side and point the toes down towards the mat. Pressing into the other limbs that are connected to the mat. And then walk that left foot forward in between the hands. Right foot turns parallel to the back of your mat. The left heel and right instep line up. The left knee goes out towards the left middle toe. The right hip rolls back to the left side of your mat. Keep reaching out through the fingertips. And keep the gaze in the direction of the left middle finger. Root down into the soles of your feet. And let that energy rise up the spine and reach out through the top of your head as you breathe. Making your way down into your low lunge. Stepping back into three-legged down dog with the left leg to the sky. And then settling into down dog. Both feet on the mat. Preparing for a dynamic flow, left leg to the ceiling, left knee to the right shoulder, left baby toe against the mat, turning the right foot parallel with the back of the mat, sole of the foot against the mat. Right hand to the ceiling or maybe to the top of your mat as you lift your hips. Right hand to the ceiling again, right hand down, left knee to right shoulder, step back to plank and into down dog. Right leg up to the ceiling, right knee to left shoulder, right baby toe against the mat, coming into side plank as you lift your hips up high, reaching the left hand to the ceiling or maybe to the top of your mat. Coming out, left hand to ceiling, left hand down, right knee to left shoulder, step back to plank and into down dog. Come forward into plank pose, pushing down into the hands, and then lift the right leg to hover off of the mat. Lifting the low back, coming back to plank, and then releasing into down dog. Other side, coming forward into plank, left leg hovers off of the mat, left toe is pointing down and hip facing the mat. Steady breath, lower the left leg down, and release back into down dog. Rooting into both feet and the left hand. Make the right hand as light as possible. Maybe reach it up and back towards the ceiling. Staying in your down dog. Steady with your breath. Releasing the right hand down. Coming back to full down dog. And then releasing the left hand up and back to the ceiling. The knees can be as bent as they need to be and the heels don't need to touch the mat. Bringing the left hand back down, settling into your down dog. Slowly come onto hands and knees and then coming into cat pose. So reaching the middle of the back up to the ceiling, bring the pubic bone to your face as you look down and in. And then inhale, coming into cow pose, shoulder blades move in towards each other as you lift the chest. Come back to a flat back and then we'll take plank pose, getting ready for running plank. Push into hands and alternate between reaching one heel back and one knee forward in line with the elbows. running as fast or slow as you choose. Keep reaching the chest forward in between the hands as you keep the hips high, gaze down or forward. Steady breath. Take a deep inhale, holding plank, and then lower your knees and come to a comfortable seat. So you can take this version of Thunderbolt or any comfortable seat you choose. Just taking a few moments to connect to breath, body, and stillness. We'll take Hadouken arms to release the wrists. So pretend that you're shooting a ball of energy out from the inner wrists, reaching them forward as you pull the knuckles back in towards the body. Hadouken! And then switching sides to bring the opposite wrist on top, shooting forward, pulling the knuckles back. Releasing the hands down and coming back to the breath. Make your way down onto your forearms, setting up for dolphin pose. So make sure that the elbows are shoulder distance apart and then release the fingers forward. Lift the hips up high as if you're coming into down dog, pressing down into the forearms, and then reach the chest forward, coming into a plank. So we'll do some dolphin push-ups, alternating between lifting the hips up high and then guiding the torso parallel to the mat, giving the neck room and supporting the low back with a strong core in both postures. Come into a full forearm plank, so walk the legs back, and then you'll tap the left hip down towards the left side of your mat and come back to the plank. Reach back through the elbows, tap the right hip to the right side of your mat, and keep flowing like that, moving in between plank, tapping to the right, plank, tapping to the left. Keep the chest forward, elbows press into the mat as you turn and lower the hips. Come back to forearm plank, lower the knees, and then lower down into child's pose. And for this child's pose, you can reach the elbows forward. Maybe your fingertips are towards the ceiling, or maybe they reach back towards the back as you reach the hips in towards the heels. Slowly release the hands and make your way up to sit. You can remain seated, focusing on your breath, or if you have tripod headstand in your practice, you can pop up into it. If you want to give it a try, you can bring your mat against a wall, or if you feel a bit more brave, you can do it freely. Making a triangle with the top of your head as the top of the triangle and the palms of your hands as the base, lowering the head down onto the mat. Elbows reaching back and in, shoulder blades moving down the back. Come onto the tiptoes, lift the hips up high. Press into the hands and maybe you stay here. Or maybe you bring one knee into the chest and then the other knee into the chest. And maybe you begin to extend the legs all the way up to the ceiling. Just staying at whichever point feels most comfortable to you. On the tiptoes, knees to the chest, maybe knees to the ceiling, or reaching all the way up. Steady breath. More of your weight in your hands than in the top of your head. And then slowly releasing down when you're ready. If you took tripod headstand, coming to sit and noticing the sensations in your body. Incorporating these kinds of inversions, of course, takes technique, strength, trust, and courage. And your practice will build with time, and each day might be different. So do your best to be patient and gentle with yourself. In your comfortable seat, go ahead and take eagle arm pose. So reach the left arm on top of the right, elbows cross, maybe palms touch. Squeeze the elbows in towards each other as you lift the fingertips and elbows up and reach the shoulder blades down. You can round the upper back slightly and move the shoulder blades away from each other. Deep inhale to release and switch sides with the right arm on top. Shoulder blades down, elbows and fingertips lift. Maybe gently rounding the upper back, sliding the shoulder blades away from each other. Deep inhale to release. Switch the feet, so bring the back leg forward. And then we'll take cow face arms. Bring the left hand behind the back and walk the back of the hand up the spine. Then reach the right hand up and over, lifting the right elbow up and back. You can use a strap here if your hands don't touch. And if they do, keep lifting the right elbow up and back and pulling the left elbow down as you pull the hands apart. Shoulder blades moving down, left elbow moving in towards the spine. Chest lifted as you press down into the hips. Gently releasing to switch sides. So now the back of the right hand is behind the back, walking that hand and forearm up the spine. Keep rolling the shoulder back. And then lift the left hand up and over. Maybe it reaches, maybe it doesn't. You can use a strap here to pull the arms apart. So the left elbow goes up and back and in towards the midline. Right elbow down and in towards the midline. Shoulders rolled back, chest lifted. Releasing gently and setting up for frog pose. So separating the knees as wide as you can. Keeping the ankles behind the knees. So flex the feet, pointing the toes forward towards the top of the body. And then send the hips back towards the heels. You can stay on your hands or maybe down onto your forearms. Or maybe come all the way down to lie on your belly and chest as you extend the arms forward. Keeping the knees and ankles at a 90-degree angle as you reach the hips back in towards the heels. Keeping the feet flexed and breath steady. Chest lifted and face soft. Slowly make your way up, bringing the knees together, coming onto hands and knees. And then taking your blocks, coming to lie on your back in reclined bound angle pose. So you'll have 2 blocks or blankets, anything to give you a bit of height and support on the outside of both thighs or knees. And then the 3rd block or blanket, you're going to place it in the mid back so that you get a gentle heart opening release here. So the chest is lifted, the shoulders roll back, and the back of the head is against the mat. Hips and feet against the mat. Arms wide out to the side. As you allow yourself to be supported in this pose, allow the body to soften as it leans into this support. With every exhale, melting deeper into this pose, releasing tension from the body. As always, noticing the thoughts that pop up and choosing to come back to the present moment, choosing to come back to what is happening here and now with your body and breath. Allowing the body to breathe naturally as you observe. Slowly bring the knees together, pressing the soles of the feet against the mat, and just observing your body in this space and shape. Press the elbows and forearms in towards the mat to lift the upper body and move the block away, slowly making your way up to sit. And noticing the way you feel at the end of your practice today. Spending a few more mindful moments, staying present with the breath and body, focusing on the here and now. Taking a deep inhale, bringing your hands together in prayer, thumbs to your chest as you release a long exhale. Giving thanks for these moments spent exploring your practice. And I thank you, as always, for sharing your practice with me and for allowing me to share my practice with you. From my heart to yours, I wish you peace and presence.